What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So I'm here in Michigan checking out one of the most expensive spec homes in the entire state. And I'm also here to meet Kevin, the broker listing this home, who is one of the top agents in the entire state with almost $1 billion worth of sales over his career. So let's go inside, check out the home, and talk to Kevin. Hello. So guys, I want to let you know, Kevin has an amazing story when it comes to getting in real estate and starting off in the business that I felt I really wanted to share. I literally walked into an open house, by the way, met Kevin, and that's why we're literally breaking out the camera for this. So if you wouldn't mind sharing a story about how you got in real estate and some of your sales, I think everyone would like to hear it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was really opportunistic that you happened to come by, as this is a phenomenal home, and it just sort of then serves as the crown jewel in a series of this real estate representation I've had. So real estate came about because relocating to Metro Detroit then and settling here after 5 or so years together, we decided we wanted to start a family. A year later, we had our son, and with that impending birth, I said, well, we're bringing this kid into the world and we want to be a part of it. What could we do that would allow total flexibility? Get out there and be there for every chapel that they have here at Cranbrook Schools, or every lacrosse game, or go to the art class, or be there for whatever events. And so literally sitting around one day, I said, real estate would be cool. I've always had an interest in that. I had no idea what to do. I'd never sold a house. I'd never considered it. It just literally popped in my brain. So I chose real estate with that idea that it was going to be very flexible, not knowing then where I would go and what I would do. So coming from the West Coast, I knew Coldwell Banker and said, well, there's an office here. I'll go talk to them. And I walked in and met the managing broker there, and she said, great, you want to become a realtor. So did you go to school here? And I said, no. And she said, you belong to any clubs here? I said, no. She said, did you go to college here? I said, no. She says, so how do you propose to sell real estate? I said, well, I figured you'd tell me what I get here, what I need to do. So I got my license, went in, and then just listened. And I thought, well, I guess open houses, that seems to be a way to do this. So another woman in the office who'd been their big producer, she said, sure, I've got a bunch of houses, hold one of them open. And that was the very first person I ever met, was someone in an open house who didn't buy that house, as traditionally they don't, but said they really trusted me, which I thought was fun because I'd never sold a house in my life.
Right.
And said, could you help us find one? And I did, and they referred me to someone, and thereafter I became the rookie of the year. And within 10
How much in real estate did you sell your first year?
So my first year here in Metro Detroit, I sold almost $5 million in real estate.
Year.
My first year. Over the years, obviously, as the real estate industry, as any industry has changed, I find that we're no longer really the purveyors of information in this information age. People can get the information going to any portals that they like, nationally or internationally. But I think that we really serve a purpose then in being the provider of service. Right. And it's really that great service, the service of using our professional knowledge, the interpretation, the understanding of that detail, and getting the best value, whether we're selling a home or representing the party and buying the home. And like you then, it was helping that first client through that transitional period in their life, and they referred me to someone, and therefore, and my business now is almost exclusively referral based. And I didn't even get to share this story with you. So the home we're standing in is the pinnacle of a 15-year relationship with this developer, Brandywine. And we have had tremendous success working together, selling some of this community's most expensive homes. The one we're standing in is one of the state of Michigan's most expensive homes, and indeed the most expensive speculative home at nearly $6 million for this house. And that came about, that relationship that very few people are familiar with, was actually born out of my client building his very first home when I was starting my real estate career, and he went to buy a front door. And when he went to buy the front door, he said to the gentleman who was there, I'm building a house. And the guy said, where? And he said, down in Birmingham. He said, you have an agent? And my developer client here, who I've worked with, said, no, I don't. And the guy at the door factory, Mike, said, you should talk to Kevin. Here's the irony. Mike was never a client of mine. Mike had been the door purveyor for a client of mine, and I had sold that home in Birmingham, and when he came to deliver it, I happened to be there, and we chatted, and he thought I was really nice, and he said, I'm not selling my house right now, but could you give me some pointers, some things you think I should do when I do want to sell the house a number of years later? So Mike was never a client of mine. And I did. I took time out and went to his house and said, you should do this. I think you should do that and the other. To this day, he still lives in that house.
I love that, yeah.
But had I not taken that, which I knew was never going to result in a sale immediately, but it was that service and it was that willingness to participate, he referred me and said, you really need to talk to this guy, Kevin.
Yeah.
This developer did. I sold that first house, and I have represented every home since, which is multi-million dollars to Red Wing players, Pistons personnel, CEOs, Tigers players, and here I am today in this house that's been built with the opportunity to sell it, all traced back to a relationship that was formed with someone who wasn't even a client. I think, you can go through the technical aspect of going to get your license, and this is the theory, but there's nothing like practice to really hone the skill. But it was really through a mentorship program that I got to become more familiar, as I think anyone would. If you're a young doctor or you're working to become a partner in a law firm, it's really with the other people. So it was in this office that some of the more seasoned people took me under the wing. One woman in particular who was like a second mother to me. And indeed, Dell Moore had hailed from a little town in Wyoming, came here, was a realtor, raised her family, her husband a tax attorney, took a real liking and helped me understand and guided me through my first transactions and took me out on tour to look at homes and said that was integral. Sadly, about 8 years in, Dell was at an open house and fell down the basement stairs and passed away. Oh, no. And then when, fast forwarding here, when I went and left Coldwell Banker after a decade, having amassed all the accolades I felt I could there, I opened my own firm. And when you walk in our office there, Dell's picture and her license plate are in the foyer as a testament and inspiration to what she taught me, and now having my own firm with about 30 agents, what I am hoping to help other people understand and do. So when you go to sell a house, for example, like in selling this house, I'm standing here in the stead of my developer. So it is my role to be entirely educated on every aspect of what this home has. Now this is a new construction, so it has certain elements, but if I were doing a resale home, which I'll be launching one here on Tuesday for a few $1 million, I needed to know why they built it there, why they chose this, why that they did it. It was called a California Craftsman was the style she chose. It is a single dining grate kitchen room. There's no compartmentalization. There are no other gathering rooms in the home. It's all in the center, which is highly, highly unusual in this part of the country. But I had to understand why they chose to do that in order to sell it, so that detail.
Do you invest in real estate too?
Yes, of course. I think that, I think anyone in real estate should certainly invest in real estate. So when we opened, my partner and I opened Shain Park as a brokerage house, we also took everything we saw in real estate that, this, what I call nickel and diming. So when we bring agents in, we pay for everything. You're not paying for this, that, and the other. We open a property management firm. Why? Because clients of ours who invest in real estate and ourselves investing in real estate know that we have to manage it. We open an estate sale company, not because I wanted to and not that I advertise, but because we had client needs. They're like, oh. James and I also moved into investing in real estate, both as leasehold properties where we have tenancy, but then also into flipping, as you would call it. So we just had a condo here that we had facilitated fixing up and selling for the highest price in the building in Birmingham in January. And right now we're in the throes of having acquired a property in Birmingham, a standalone single-family house, and it's been about 65 days. I hope to have it on the market in the next 30, and we'll realize some profit there. And so we're in what is arguably one of the largest mudrooms I've ever seen, and that of other people here. We've got heated floors. We've got all here. This is, a smart home. This is where a family would spill in, and you've got the big center island here. It could be used as a chef's or catering kitchen, obviously for this clientele. And then this moves into the heart of the home where we've built, a standalone walk-in pantry, and then, what is truly the heart of any home, the kitchen. And my client has received numerous awards throughout Metro Detroit for best kitchen, and this hasn't even been submitted. Caesar stone is a product we've used before. Caesar stone uses one of my clients' kitchens in their national publication. But this is an exquisite piece done by a team that he's employed from a design aspect, where we have hidden the appliances here behind the custom-made cabinetry, even bringing the farmer's sink down here in the stone in its own right. So just a beautiful setting here. And so here, this gives you an opportunity to take a peek out onto the grounds, as this is the first home ever built on this parcel of land. Now we've got 2 acres right along the river, and we are just a stone's throw here from Detroit proper itself, from 30-minute drive from here, and we're at the Symphony Hall, we're at the museums, we're at the baseball games, the Tiger Stadium, Ford Field, and then of course just 10 minutes down the road we're at one of the world's, the state of Michigan certainly, preeminent collections with Neiman Marcus and Saks and whatnot.
It's beautiful.
But here we're right next door to the 360-acre of Cranbrook Educational Community, and this bucolic setting. This is just, it's transfixing. I mean, every time I'm here, I'm like, oh my goodness, how gorgeous is this? So the first 2 floors is about 8,200 square feet, and then the lower level is completely finished. That's about another 4,000 square feet. So we have gym, a guest bedroom suite, the heated floor, and then we've created this phenomenal lower level entertainment space by using steel beams in the constructional. We don't have all those posts. Yeah. And so even this morphed into a design because this is such a voluminous space. They decided to break it up with the color palette. Very smart. But brought in this fabulous, the fireplace here, and then this entertainment bar. The first time they've ever put this sort of, resting place here. I like this. They did a beautiful leather motif, and then all the evidence that we've got this mixed metal coming back, brass, and the metal there for this lower level entertainment. But we've got a seating area over there, maybe pool or ping pong or basketball here, another whole suite, the elevator. So this sort of rounds out the livability of the home with 12,000 square feet of finished space in total. Wherever you are in your life is a product of every decision that came before, good, bad, or indifferent. And I think, one thing I would say is, gosh, I wish I had known about real estate earlier. I think where my life would be. However, my life may not be, it may be a different series. But one thing that I can take away and share here, of course, is one's own sense of happiness. If I can get, theoretical or philosophical in this regard, let's go for it. Is that your own sense of happiness really, while it may be influenced by weather or by, geography, I think ultimately that really stems from within. We're on this merry-go-round of life for an indeterminate amount of time. It could be soon, it could be long, but that sense of happiness, go for it. Find what makes you happy, embrace it, make it work, and define your own success. And whether that success is more time for yourself, more time for your loved ones, more money, more property, whatever that success is for you individually, embrace that and make it happen. And don't let anyone say you can't, because everything is possible. Yeah. I'm the living embodiment. Who'd have thunk that this would be it? Here it is. Yeah. So go for it and have fun.
So unfortunately, I had a bit of an oopsie in Detroit, and that was that I forgot to film an outro. So here we go. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys enjoy videos like this, make sure to always gently tap the like button. Not so much to break your phone screen, not enough to crack the glass, just gently tap it. Also, of course, subscribe, because it's totally free to do, and why wouldn't you do that? It takes a second. Add me on Instagram. I post there pretty much daily, so if you want to be a part of it there, feel free to add me there. Thank you again for watching, and until next time.